From the viewer, we're going to hit the shortcut to the file open, and I'm going to go ahead and search for patient. And I don't have to spell the entire name, I can just start with that. And it's going to bring me up 3 studies. So I've got 3 different studies here. I have a carotid from 2002, I have an echo from 2004, and I have another echo from 2006. I want the 2 echoes, so I'm going to highlight both of those, hold down the control key, and I'm going to open those studies. So what we've done is open the first study. The second study is actually under the window. So if I go to window, I've got my patient from 2006, patient from 2004, and I can switch back and forth between the 2. 2004 patient, and I'm going to work with the 2006 patient here. So got a couple different ways I can look at this. I can look this in a 4-up display. I can look at this in the 1-up display that you saw earlier, or if I use the middle display here, this is comparative mode, and that will compare the 2 studies side by side. The thumbnails opposite the image are what control it. So I can control this image by clicking on this set of thumbnails. I can control this image by clicking on this set of thumbnails. And that will allow me to look at my 2 images from 2 different dates. Here's my 2004 date, here's my 2006 date. 2 different studies, same image. Allows me to compare those 2 side by side. So we've got the 2006 image up, our study up. I've got 3 different ways I can actually move through the study. As you saw earlier, I can click on a thumbnail and it will take me to that particular image. So I can move through the study that way. I can use the pink up and down arrows, which will accomplish the same thing, up and down. Or I can use page up and page down on the keyboard. I have some controls that look like the controls on your VCR. These allow me to stop the image and step frame forward or frame back, or obviously the middle button will play that image, bring it back to playing the full loop. I have speed settings on it. I can increase the speed of the image that's playing. I can decrease the speed. So those are the basic viewer controls on the control panel. If I right-click on the big image, it brings up a whole separate set of menus that I can do various things with. The most common thing I do here is measurements. So I can go to measurements. Anything that's highlighted here, length, area, volume, those are already pre-calibrated. There's no need to do a calibration on those. If I want to do a simple length measurement, I can click on length. I'm going to stop this image, and I'll go to the frame that I want, set the caliper down, click once, move it to the second point you want, click again, and it will give me the resultant measurement. And this measurement at this point is just an electronic caliper that is not going anywhere, but when I bring the reports up, I can start to bring those and put those into the report if I choose to. So that's the basics of the viewer. So this brings us to the reporting system. The reporting system is a custom Microsoft Word template. The template can be designed to fit your specific needs. What we're showing here is a Word template that was basically specified by the American Society of Echo back in March of 2003 for doing echo reporting. I'd also like to mention at this point that we typically do the reporting and the viewing on separate monitors. I can't show that here in this demo, but the way folks are using this in the real world, they have the images set up on one monitor and they're doing the reports on the second monitor. You'll notice a couple things about this. As I open this report, a couple of things are going to happen automatically. We're going to automatically populate the patient demographic information and the measured values that were done in the study. Those come over automatically. We also default the observations to normal, so that if it's a normal study, I can simply finalize it there and be done with it. We don't want you to have to fill all of those in. If I do want to make changes to the observations, I can click into a field. In this instance, it's the cavity size of the left ventricle, and I can make comments on the cavity size. And here I'm going to say that this is moderately increased or a moderately dilated left ventricle. I'll OK that, and it will take that normal phrase out and give me a moderately dilated phrase for the left ventricle. Also have wall motion scoring within this form too. If I click into the resting wall motion portion, it will bring up a graphic, and here I can label the various segments as to hypokinetic, akinetic, so on and so forth. In this instance, it's set up to do hypokinetic, so I can click on a segment. It will change that segment to a 2 or a hypokinetic segment. If I want to call a segment akinetic, I can choose akinetic. Click on it, that gives it a value of 3. And you can see it's automatically adjusting the wall score as we go here. So when I OK this, it's going to take those 3 statements and pop those 3 statements in for the resting wall motion. If I want to do the post-exercise wall motion, works the same way. Click the segments, had the same issues, OK that, And now I've adjusted the wall segment. So this is how the verbiage has changed. You'll also notice if I scroll down that the bullseye report will reflect those same numerical values. So that's all I want to say about this particular report. The rest of it's normal. At this point, I can come down and finalize this report. So if I click on the little pencil icon, that will finalize it. I'm going to choose this as if I were a sonographer who is preparing a report for a physician. So I'm going to have a physician come back and review this one after I'm done. I'm going to choose it as prepared. I'm going to say OK. And now I've just saved that report off as a prepared report. Now let's assume that I'm a physician, that I'm going to sit down and read the study that a sonographer has prepared for me. So I'll sit down, do the same search. I already have patient in there. I will open him, and there are my 3 studies and my report status. If I view both the reports in the video, you'll notice that there's the prepared report that we just did. So I'll open my report and my images from 2006. And now I can review the images, review the reports. As a physician, let's say that I have another comment to make, that I notice some mild mitral regurgitation I want to note on this report. I will click into the mitral valve, come down to regurgitation, severity, mild, choose mild regurgitation. And now I'm done with it. I agreed with the previous comments the sonographer made. I've made my own change. This time I'm going to finalize the report as the physician. This signed report will replace the prepared report in the SQL database.